Well, students, we have finished two chapters so far. The first one was on mathematical preliminaries, and the second one was on errors. Now we are into the third chapter on numerical linear algebra. In this chapter, we will mainly study the methods that approximate solution for linear systems. We also extend our study on methods for computing dominant eigenvalue of a matrix. As far as the methods for linear systems are concerned, there are two types of methods that we can think of. One is the direct methods and another type is the iterative methods. Direct methods doesn't involve any approximation mathematically, and therefore if used by a human being or computed using infinite precisions, direct methods will give exact solution, whereas iterative methods are designed to give approximate solutions for linear systems. Let us start our study with direct methods. Among direct methods, the most basic one is the well-known Gaussian elimination method. Hope you all know the method very well. However, I will quickly introduce the method and talk about certain important points that one has to understand from the numerical analysis point of view. Let us first recall an important theorem regarding a linear system of equation and its solvability. Let A be an n cross n matrix and B is a vector in Rn. Then the following statements are equivalent. One is the determinant of A is not equal to 0. The second statement is that for each right hand side vector B, the system Ax equal to B has a unique solution X. And third is for B equal to 0, the only solution for the system Ax equal to B is X equal to 0. That is when A is invertible, that is determinant of A is not equal to 0. We will use this theorem crucially in our discussions. Therefore, you should remember this. I know that you have studied this theorem in your basic linear algebra course and you are familiar with the proof of this theorem. Therefore, I am not going to prove this theorem. Let us start with Gaussian elimination method. The method that I am going to introduce is the basic version of the Gaussian elimination method, which is called the naive Gaussian elimination method. After introducing this basic method, we will also introduce what is modified Gaussian elimination method. So the method is named after a German mathematician called Friedrich Gauss. Let us describe the method through a 3 by 3 system, and the idea can be generalized to any n by n system in a similar way. Consider a 3 by 3 system given by this. The coefficients can be written as a 3 by 3 matrix, each entry being Aij, and the right hand side vector B has 3 components. The solution vector is the vector X, whose components are x1, x2 and x3. For the convenience, we'll denote the first equation by E1, the second equation by E2, and the third equation by E3. The idea of the method is to somehow eliminate the first term of the second equation and the first and second term of the third equation, and thereby we get an equivalent system in which the first equation is retained as it is, whereas the second equation is rewritten in such a way that the first term coefficient is 0. Accordingly, A22, A23 and B2 will be modified. And similarly, in the third equation, your first and second coefficients will be 0 and accordingly A33 and B3 will be modified. Once you have this, you can see that since these terms are not there, let us call this modified coefficient as A tilde 3 and B tilde 3 on the right hand side. Then x3 can be directly computed by taking x3 equal to B3 tilde divided by A33 tilde. Once we get x3, that can be substituted into the second equation, where you have the first coefficient is 0, and accordingly the other coefficients are modified. And once x3 is substituted, x2 is the only unknown in this equation, so you can obtain x2 also. And then you go back to the first equation, x2 is known, x3 is known, therefore x1 can also be obtained. So that's the idea of Gaussian elimination method. Let us give the expressions more precisely. As long as the first coefficient of the first equation is not equal to 0, you define the new quantities m21 and m31 like this. And now we will obtain a new system which is equivalent to the original system given to us. And how we get this new system? The first equation will be retained as it is. The second equation will be replaced by this equation, right? Second equation minus m21 into first equation. That you replace by the second equation. As we know, these are elementary operations. Therefore, the solution will not be changed by doing these operations. The third equation will be replaced by the equation E3 minus M3 into E1, right? Therefore, your new system will be E1 kept as it is and E2 minus M21 into E1. Remember, this is your E1, this is your E2, and this is your E3, right? And the third equation will be E3 minus M31 into E1. So that is your new system. So you can do these calculations. I will skip this. And your new system is given like this, where the first coefficients of the second and the third equations vanish, and your new coefficients are introduced here, and their expressions are given by this. Now, once you have this system, you go to do one more level of elimination, where you keep the first equation as it is, the second equation as it is, but the third equation is going to be modified. How are we going to modify? Well, if this is not equal to 0, that is A2 to 2 is not equal to 0. If this is not equal to 0, then you define M32 like this and take your modified system and do the modification only to the third equation, whereas the first two equations are retained as they are. And for the third equation, you will replace it by E3 minus M32, where M32 is given like this, into E2. E2 is this. This is your E3. Now that is replaced by this equation, whereas the other two equations are retained as they are. So therefore, by doing this, your second coefficient of the third equation becomes 0, and you obtain the equivalent system like this, where in the third equation you only have the term involving x3. Therefore, by direct calculation, x3 can be obtained, right? How you can obtain x3? X3 is b33 by A333, and those coefficients are given by these expressions. So this process of the method is called the forward elimination process. Now we go to do the backward substitution, where you will have x3 is equal to b33 divided by A333. Once you get x3, you substitute it here to get x2. Once you get x2, then substitute x2 and x3 into the first equation and get x1. And that is how you get the solution. And this is called the backward substitution. For that, you observe that first you have to assume that A333 is not equal to 0, and then you can do the back substitution as I told you. So that gives you the solution. So in this process, you can see that you have finally made your A, the given coefficient matrix, to an upper triangular matrix, which is given like this, right? If you go back to your final eliminated system, you can see that this system has the coefficient matrix like this, which is an upper triangular matrix. right? You can see it very easily. And that I'm just showing it here as U. So AX equal to B is equivalently written in the sense that the solution of one system is going to be the same as the solution of the other system. Ux is equal to some B tilde. It's not exactly B, but it is given by B1, B22, B33, right? So it's not going to be the same as this B. This B is going to be different. What is the advantage of this system when compared to this system? Well, you can directly make a back substitution and get the solution for this. And remember, whatever m quantities that we multiplied at each step, they can be arranged in a matrix form, and that will come to be a lower triangular matrix. And in fact, you can see that L into U will be equal to A. This is just an interesting remark which will be useful in our next method, which is LU decomposition method. Well, coming to why we call it as naive Gaussian elimination method. See, first of all, we do not know if the method described here can be successfully applied to all the systems that we come across, right? Why? Basically, we have assumed that A11 should not be equal to 0. What happens if A11 is 0? You may have an invertible matrix for which A11 is 0, in which case you cannot do the method that we have explained so far. Therefore, the Gaussian elimination method, as we explained in the previous slides, cannot be applied to a system for which A11 is equal to 0. Secondly, even when we apply the method successfully, it is not clear if the computed solution is the exact solution. In fact, it is not even clear that the computed solution is close to the exact solution. Here, by computed solution, we mean the solution obtained on a computer. Okay, as we can see from the way we have constructed the method, there is no approximation involved in the method, right? Therefore, if everything goes well, the method should give us the exact solution. But for that, we have to compute each step using infinite precision. If we have rounding error in our calculation, then it's not very clear how that rounding error will propagate. As you can see that there are many places where we do subtraction of two numbers, right? Therefore, it's not very clear whether we will be successful in obtaining a solution, if not exact, at least close to the exact solution. Let us give an example for this. Consider the linear system given like this. Well, the first part is okay because A11 is not equal to 0. Therefore, that is okay. And we will try to compute the solution of this system using a 4-digit rounding calculation. Remember, after every step, we have to do a 4-digit rounding. So let me write the system like this, where all the numbers are taken as they are. But remember, we have problem with these two terms. Okay. So 2 by 3 is going to be 0.666, it goes on. And 1 by 3 is going to be 0.333 and it goes on. So if you use a 4-digit rounding for these two numbers, well, we will get 0.6667 because after 4 digits, we are rounding, right? And this will be 0.3333. And they are, of course, very close to the number that we are supposed to insert here. But nevertheless, they are not exactly, but they are very close to the exact value. Well, you can do the calculations using the formulas given above. I will skip the detailed calculations. You can see that M21 is given like this and M31 is given like this. And therefore, after the first step of elimination, we will get this system. You can see that the first coefficient of the second equation and the first coefficient of the third equation, they vanish because of the way we have done the elementary operations. And what remains is this part in the right hand side, and of course the first equation is kept unchanged. Now we will go to do the second step, where we will eliminate the second coefficient of the third equation. For that, we have M32 given by this in this case, and that makes the second term of the third equation successfully 0, and thereby we have the upper triangular matrix like this. From here, you can do the backward substitution and get the solution of our linear system like this. Okay, so this is what we got. Remember, using a 4-digit rounding calculation. After every operation, you have to make a 4-digit rounding. Now, what is the exact solution? You can see that the exact solution is given like this. And when you compare the exact solution with the one we computed using 4-digit rounding, you see that these two are no way close to each other. Well, x3 is okay, but all other components of the solution are no way near to the exact solution. So where did we go wrong? Let's go back and see. While computing the coefficient A222, if you recall, it is A222. The formula for this is A222 is A22, that is the given coefficient, minus M21 times A11, that is 2. If you recall, A22 is given by 2 by 3. Let us do the infinite precision calculation. 2 by 3 minus, if you recall, this is going to be 1 by 3, that is M21, into A11 is 2. So that is going to be 0 in the infinite precision calculation, right? Whereas in the 4-digit rounding calculation, this is going to be 0.6667 minus 0.3333 into 2, right? See, there are two numbers, say x and y. In the infinite precision, they are equal, whereas in the 4-digit rounding, well, they are not equal, but their values are very close to each other. It means you are subtracting two numbers, x and y, whose values are very close to each other. We have seen in the last chapter that such calculations will propagate relative error drastically. That is what happened in our case. In other words, there was a loss of significance happened here, and that propagated the relative error drastically to the next step. Well, how to avoid such situations computationally is the question. For that, we have to modify the Gaussian elimination method little bit, and that result into what we call as modified Gaussian elimination method. The basic idea is to do certain pivoting techniques. There are full pivoting techniques available, but in our course, we will only cover partial pivoting. Let us now introduce the modified Gaussian elimination method with partial pivoting. Again, we will take a 3 by 3 system, and the idea will be similar for any n by n system. We again will call these equations as E1, E2, and E3 respectively. Remember, in the naive Gaussian elimination method, we directly use M21 as A21 divided by A11, right? So that is where we had a lot of restrictions on using the method, because the question is what when A11 is 0, right? Then you cannot do the naive Gaussian elimination method as it is described. So what we will do is we will take modulus of each of these and see the maximum of, right? And that we will try to replace here. In other words, whichever comes as maximum, we will push that to the first equation, right? That is what is called pivoting. So here we are only taking the maximum among the first column. You may also take maximum among the other columns, in which case you will have full pivoting, but we will not do full pivoting. We will only do the partial pivoting. For that, the first step will be to take the maximum of the first column of the system. Since you are taking maximum, surely that maximum will be non-zero. You can think why it is so. Now, wherever that maximum attains, you take the least number such that S11 is that number. Let me explain this idea through an example. Let us take A11 as 3, A21 as say 4, and A31 is also 4. Then the least number means what is that component that attains maximum and its index is least. Okay, so you take, in this case, you take A21 and not A31. This is just to have a unique equation to come out of this algorithm. They interchange the first row with that row where the maximum is attained. Let us call it as kth row. So the first row, first equation, second equation, third equation. Suppose the maximum is attained and the second equation, then push second equation to the first position and bring the first equation to the second position and keep that as your system for your first step. So call that system which you have arranged in such a way that this coefficient is the maximum among these three in the absolute value. And now you do the same calculation as we did in the naive Gaussian elimination and obtain the eliminated system at the first step. Let me just skip all the discussions. These are just same as the previous discussion. The only thing is that now this coefficient is obtained by this partial pivoting technique. That is taking the maximum modulus of the first column, whichever attains the maximum, that you push to the first equation, and the first equation is pushed to that position where the maximum is attained. Okay, that is what is called partial pivoting. Once you do that, the rest, all the steps are the same, and we got the first level of elimination. Now you see, you have to do the second level of elimination with this part of the system, where the first one is kept unchanged, where we have to deal with these coefficients now. Therefore, you again go to find the maximum of these two. Whichever attains maximum, say this attains maximum, then push this to this position and this to this position. That is what we are going to do now. In the second step, you will take the maximum of these two coefficients, their absolute values, whichever attains the maximum, that will be interchanged among themselves, and the rest all goes as they are in the naive Gaussian elimination method. So let me skip all these discussions because they are exactly the same as what we did in the naive Gaussian elimination. And thereby, now we got the upper triangular system. Once you have the upper triangular system, you again go for the backward substitution. Your forward substitution is over and go for the backward substitution. Remember, for the backward substitution, we still need this condition. Okay, again, backward substitution idea is exactly the same as it is in the naive Gaussian elimination method. Therefore, let us not spend time on discussing that. I hope this partial pivoting technique is clear for you. It is exactly the same as the naive Gaussian elimination, but in every step, we will take the leading columns coefficients, take the absolute values of them, find the maximum of all that numbers. Wherever the maximum attains, you push that to the leading position, and the leading position equation will be pushed to the position where the maximum is attained. And then the rest all steps will be the same as the naive Gaussian elimination method. Let us go back to our example and apply this modified Gaussian elimination method to the system. And we will again perform the calculation with 4-digit rounding one. And let us see what is the solution we obtain with the modified Gaussian elimination method. So what is the first step? Well, you have to find S1, that is going to be maximum of mod 6, mod 2, and mod 1. You can see that the maximum is attained at the first position. Therefore, there is no pivoting happens. It is the same as the original system. If this is say 8, then this equation would have gone here, the entire equation, and this entire equation would have come to the third position, and then the elimination process will go. But that did not happen here. Therefore, we will take the original system and go for the first elimination process. The first elimination process gives us this system where the leading coefficients became 0, and now we have to take this part of the system for the second level of elimination. For that, we have to take these two coefficients, and now when you go to find S2, it is going to be maximum of 0.0001 and 1.667. Well, obviously the maximum is achieved at the third equation. Therefore, third equation will go to the second equation's position, and the second equation will come to the third equation's position. And now do the second level of elimination process, which is just exactly the same as the naive Gaussian elimination process. And we will obtain this system where you can see that this coefficient has become 0 because that was the main aim of the elimination process. And we have the third equation like this, where X3 can be directly calculated. So our forward elimination process is over with partial pivoting technique. And now you can go for the backward substitution process, and that gives us the solution like this. And recall that the naive Gaussian elimination method gave us this solution, whereas the modified Gaussian elimination method gave us this solution. Now let us see what is the exact solution. The exact solution is given like this. You can clearly see that your modified Gaussian elimination method gave a better approximation than the naive Gaussian elimination, right? So this partial pivoting has improved our accuracy drastically. That is because you can see that in the second step, well, actually there is a big error involved in this calculation. That is what we have understood in our previous discussion. And when you use this number into the further calculations, that can amplify the error drastically. Whereas what we did is, when we pushed the second equation to the third equation, well, this coefficient was never used because we knew that it is going to be 0. So you simply put that as 0 here. See, the second equation came to the third equation and you simply put that as 0. So this part was never used in the calculation, right? I hope you understood that this equation came to the third equation part. Thereby, this coefficient was sitting here, and that was never used in our calculation. It was just made 0, that's all. So all the propagated error carried by this number is just nullified without making any calculation with that. That is how the partial pivoting has helped us to get rid of this bad number in our calculation. We never allowed it to bring its error into the further calculations. Thereby, our solution accuracy was retained here.